today this video is just to give you understanding of what I've implemented for Windows Autopilot Hybrid Azure AD join. As we all know, over VPN support, it takes around 2 to 3 hours to actually see the network sign in. So what I've done here is what I'll bring up the actual Intune content profile for you, so that way you can see what I've done so far. So what we'll do is just type in https://endpoint.microsoft.com, and I'll log in with my credentials here. And don't save. And obviously it'll prompt my creds, so approve. So just to give a hot overview of what was deployed, I'll just go to CMD, type in hostname here, and that will give me my Autopilot name. So if I want to devices, I go to configuration profiles, local admin, and this was the one I created today. Obviously it'll error out, don't worry about that. The whole point of this is actually just to assign this user profile or user account to the computer. So what it's done is, I've done here is actually just put a password. So this is the password I log in with. And this is the group that's in, so it's just integer there. So obviously, if I went to computer management and I went to local users and groups, go users, you can see the admin. But if I double click on it, it's not a member, it's a member of administrators as well. But since this is a Windows Autopilot Hybrid Azure AD join, it's a bit different. And what that does is, so obviously from what I've tested is that in order for the network sign to show on logon after the Autopilot reset, it usually takes about 2 to 3 hours for it to show up. So what I've done is I've simply just logged in locally, as you can see. So I'm logged in as admin. And it hasn't installed the Office suite yet, because it's still waiting to actually contact Intune. So what I've done here is that I've actually logged in, and since I've packaged up the Cisco Connect client with a change here. So we're going to click cancel, and what I'm going to show is pretty much on preferences, and under VPN, under preferences here, you'll see that the start VPN when any connect is started. So obviously I could simply, and what I'll do here is simply log out, log off. And instead of waiting for a duration of time, click OK. You can see right here, I'm connected at home obviously, it's my home Wi-Fi right there. And all I do is just click on network sign in, and you can see right here, it does the Cisco and connect as well. And what I'll put in is Navitas, and I'll put my credentials here. I'll click OK, it will establish a connection. So obviously this was the user account that I logged in originally, and you can see right here that it shows up with disconnect. So if I clicked on that, that would disconnect my VPN connection. So since I want to create my profile, and you can see right there, it shows Navitas. So I can log with my credentials here. And this will bring me straight into my profile. So everything should all be there. So all my configuration profiles are all there. And I'll bring you later on through how we see what configuration profiles will target on my device. So this usually does take a while, just give it a bit of patience, because it is over VPN. So this is the first animation. Like any other Windows deployment that we've all done before. And you can see that it's received the group policy. So this is the group policy that I've targeted my for Griffith College. So obviously that opens up fine. And you notice that it's all there. So Cisco is still connected as it was before early on, so that's probably the best bit of it. Everything will show up eventually, so just give a bit of time here and there. And so most of the stuff, so all my map drives are there as well. As you can see, just go to this computer, you see all my map drives. This will eventually kick in as well. It's not the best way to do it. If you want to see that it's actually autopilot, so just declare command prompts. You can tell OneDrive has kicked in successfully, which is great. And it'll kick in with other welcome to OneDrive's configurations, which is a norm, which is part of the process. And you can see that it's still doing the OneDrive configurations. And you can tell my desktop has kind of fully populated before my on my remote desktop shortcuts. So in here, I'll just type in this reg, cmd status / status, and you can see right there that it's actually done. It's domain joined. It's now it's an autopilot U88J0. And if I was to go to Firefox, for example, which I'll show you again like I did early on, I'll go straight to https endpoints.microsoft.com. I'll log in with my credentials here. And what I'll do next is approve. So I click that and I approve it. We'll grab the host. So obviously I know my host name is this. So all I do is just copy that. Go to devices. And I paste my host name there. You can see right there that it's Intune join. And if I click on it, you can see that it's corporate owned now, compliant. So it's got my configuration baseline, which is received, which is great. It's got my device configuration, which got done early on after enrollment. So all my settings are there. It's So this is one that got deployed. Don't worry about that too much. It's more of just for me as a shortcut. You've got your app configuration, which is nothing at the moment. Set endpoint security, nothing at all, because it just got logged in. Recovery keys, there's my BitLocker key if I need it. And my BitLocker will kick in eventually, so don't worry about that. User experience, this is part of the endpoint remediations I have in place. So this obviously will get picked up eventually. So applications, you can see what applications have been stored or what hasn't been stored. So if I just click this, you can see nothing has been stored. What I'll show you next is simply, this will just take its own sweet time. And ideally, once all this stuff is done, it will just forward nicely. So you can tell the Intune management extensions there. And eventually it'll download it will pretty much just install all the apps it needs to install, and after that it'll get code managed. So code management takes place now, and you can tell it's refreshed itself, and you can tell it's received the client. So this is my offline SCCM agent that was received, so I'll just show you briefly what that is. Go apps, all apps, and if I go SCCM agent, SCCM. And if I go to this one, this is the Windows 2, this is an offline agent, so this is what you get. So I'll just show you briefly the properties of it. So it's pretty much an offline source, so what it does is pretty much copy the content to C drive, which is C here. And at the same time, there's a PowerShell script I've included in my deployment where it will just run and execute the command line to get the device code managed. So that will eventually take its own sweet time. Don't worry about that. So you can obviously tell that it's there, but you'll see it's self-signed, so it's already been code managed, which is great. You give it some more time because it has to receive all the configuration baselines. So since it just received today, other things you can really do is just run machine policy, software policy, application policy. So you're triggering these components from the actual device to the management point. Will actually pull out all the configuration baselines to this device. Give some time, obviously, but ideally that's the case. You get all the stuff here and there later, and eventually in time this will populate here, and ideally that's just pretty much the shortcut. Thank you.